It's a bittersweet day at the National Motor Museum. The restoration of Henry Segrave's 1000 horsepower Sunbeam is finally complete, and it looks absolutely stunning. A testament to the extraordinary skill of the museum's workshop team. But today is also the day the Sunbeam heads to the US, as it embarks on a tour of high-profile events and museums. Then, in March 2027, it will return to Daytona Beach, exactly 100 years after it smashed the world land speed record at over 200 miles per hour. The National Motor Museum will welcome it home shortly afterwards. If you've been following the car's restoration here on Scarf and Goggles, thank you very much for watching. Later on you'll hear how I got involved in the project. But today isn't the end of the Sunbeam story. It's just the start of a new chapter. It's 8 AM at the National Motor Museum, and the 1000 horsepower Sunbeam is beginning its journey to the US for a celebratory tour to mark the car's centenary. First stop will be the prestigious Pebble Beach Concours event in California. If you're new to the story of the great red car that some referred to as the Slug, or more kindly, Mystery, here's a quick catch-up while the team wheel the car out of the museum. By 1927, ex-Brooklands racer Henry Segrave was already a world-famous figure in motorsport. The previous year he'd set a new world land speed record of 152 miles per hour in a modified Grand Prix car nicknamed Ladybird. More about that later on. Competition to be the fastest man on earth was fierce, and over the following 12 months the record was raised 3 more times by fellow Brooklands regulars John Parry Thomas and Malcolm Campbell, driving cars powered by huge 12-cylinder aeroplane engines. Segrave and British manufacturer Sunbeam could see that horsepower was now key to regaining the record, and so work began on a purpose-built land speed car using 2 of the company's own 22.4 litre V12 aero engines. With almost 1000 horsepower under an aerodynamic body, the car the mechanics nicknamed the Slug was assembled at Sunbeam's Wolverhampton works in early 1927. It shook the building when it was run on the dyno, but with no time for further testing and nowhere in Britain expansive enough to run the 4-ton monster at record-bothering speeds, the car was hastily packed in a huge wooden crate and shipped to Daytona Beach in Florida. On March the 29th, 1927, Henry Segrave, the first of the famous British speed kings to head to Daytona, caused a sensation when he set a new record of almost 204 miles per hour in front of a crowd of 30,000 people. He returned to Britain a hero and would go on to set further speed records on land and water. For the next 30 years, the 1000 horsepower Sunbeam was used as a non-running exhibition car before it found a home at the National Motor Museum. Now, the museum's team of engineers have restored the car and its massive V12 engines to full running condition. Scarf and Goggles has been covering the restoration of the Sunbeam for the last couple of years. I was lucky enough to be invited along to the car's send-off, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world. The big day has come. The 1000 horsepower Sunbeam is finally ready to ship to the US. Just like it did in 1927, it's going on a ship, in a box. It's going in a modern container this time. When it went in 1927, it was in a huge wooden crate with Sunbeam Works written all over the side of it. Stan and the team at Beaulieu have pulled out all the stops. It's been a huge effort to get the car ready to go today. They were expecting originally for it to be ready maybe at the end of the year, but there's so much interest in America in the car that it's going out early. Once Stan and the team had posed for a few well-deserved photos, I took a look at the other 2 cars on show with the Sunbeam. 3 cars built by Sunbeam have broken the world land speed record, and they were all together for the 1000 horsepower car's send-off. This car first broke the record in 1922 at Brooklands, driven by Ken Elmley Guinness to a speed of 134 miles per hour. Subsequently, Brooklands regular Malcolm Campbell persuaded Sunbeam to sell him the car, which he painted blue and named Bluebird. Campbell broke the record in 1924 and again in 1925, eventually recording a speed of almost 151 miles per hour. Part of the National Motor Museum's collection, this 350 horsepower V12 powered Sunbeam was restored to running condition by Stan and the workshop team, and has appeared at many events such as the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Next to Bluebird is a car I've been wanting to see ever since I started researching the land speed record, on loan to the museum for this occasion. Once nicknamed Ladybird, it was later called Tiger, a name Sunbeam would revive in the mid-60s for their high-performance sports car. This is Henry Segrave's previous record breaker car to the 1000 horsepower. So this is a Sunbeam Tiger 4 litre V12. 4 litres in land speed racing terms is really nothing. And it was really the advent of the aero engine cars that came along directly after this that really drove us towards the 1000 horsepower Sunbeam with 2 aero engines in it. So this set the land speed record on Southport Beach in the north of England in 1926. It's just had its 100th anniversary. Andy Green, the current land speed record holder, drove it on Southport Beach for its 100th anniversary. And it's here today, just to set a little bit of context for the 1000 horsepower Sunbeam and what came immediately before it. 12 months after setting the record in Ladybird, Segrave prepared to sail for America with his new car on the Cunard liner Berengaria. By then, the record stood at almost 175 miles per hour. Newsreel footage from 1927 shows the 1000 horsepower Sunbeam being pushed out of the Sunbeam factory. Segrave would drive it just 300 yards to the loading area, ready to be crated for shipping to the US.
Alright, let's go.
You're okay this side, yeah?
There we go.
Right, I can get there.
Yeah. Steady, steady. Alright, 4 tons. Right, grab anything and push. Push! Go, go, go! That's right, keep going! Don't stop. No. Sorry, stop. Brace that, brace it, brace it.
So Stan, the car is finally in the container.
It is.
How do you feel? Job done or job not quite done yet?
Oh, it's not done yet, not by a long stretch. I mean, we're in the container. We've still got to get it over to the States, get it to Pebble. We've got an event at Pebble that we've got to achieve, and then get it into the Peterson Museum in LA, and then from the LA Museum back to Daytona, and then we've got a week's worth of events in Daytona, and then back here. Then I'll be relaxed.
You're going to afford yourself a beer at the end of today, though, I hope.
Well, I think I'll probably have a beer or two tonight, yeah.
I think you probably deserve
Yeah.
it. Martin Braybrook has been involved with the Sunbeam restoration since its inception. In fact, it's his fault I'm here.
I was here at Beaulieu at the National Motor Museum one evening when they were doing a launch of a watch or something, and 2 of the main people in the National Motor Museum were stood next to the car and said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could take this back to Daytona? Well, I've been fortunate that my race teams raced at Daytona 24 hours, and I put my hand up and said, I'd like to help you with that. I've raised the funds in the past and done it in the past. And from there, it's been quite a journey. So Stan's been building the car. I've been over to Daytona twice, meeting the lovely people over there, the councillors and all sorts, arranging what's going to go on.
And I've got you to thank for involving me in the project as well.
Yes, well, when I was doing my initial research, I came across your YouTube channel, and that really has inspired so many people along the way. And actually I sent it to the head of Castrol Classic Oils in America on Monday, and he wrote back to me and said, this is just inspiring, the story, so well done you. You've been a large part of driving this forward, because everybody I've told the story to has got on board and thought it's absolutely fantastic, the history and everything.
No, thank you. Right.
I'm Matt and I'm representing Cars. I head up the international shipping department, and today I've been coordinating the loading of the Sunbeam.
So from here, in the container, we've just seen the truck leave. What's the journey from here?
So the container was collected yesterday from Southampton Port. It was delivered to us today for loading. That's going to be heading back to Southampton Port today, where it will be unloaded from the transporter that we saw and straight onto the vessel. Departing Southampton Port, it's a direct sailing to New York Port, where then the opposite will happen. We'll collect the container from port and have it unloaded at our warehouse. Okay, and then from New York, what happens then? Is that part of your remit as well? Yeah, of course. So this isn't typical what we would do for Pebble Beach, because obviously being on the west coast, LA, from a handling perspective, it would be much better to go from Southampton all the way around to LA through the Panama Canal. However, given the timing, we needed to have the vehicle on the ground in the workshop as long as possible. So we've got a very direct, quick route to New York. When it arrives, it's going to go on a road transporter and make its way across country. So obviously we've had to allow time for that, because that's a slow part of the journey. Again, that's probably as long as it's going to be on sea. So it's a sort of 6 to 9 day journey across the States. Also, given the vehicle, it's not the easiest to handle. So we have to set everything up. Stan, it's all over.
It is, yeah.
How does it feel?
Well, it's a relief now that it's tied into the container properly, and I mean the crew from Cars were very good, very helpful, and very appreciative of what we told them.
So having the car ready for today has been something of a not so much a rush job, but you have been racing against time.
Yeah, I mean our expected departure date was cut by 8 months, so to get the car finished in time to get it into the container has been a bit of a rush. You know, we've done what we can, we've got it as ready as we can. We know that both engines run. I know I can put it in gear. Can't stop it, but you know, we'll worry about that later. When we get to Daytona, we might have a bit more time to play with it.
Well, you've shared so much information in the films that we've done, and the interviews and the demonstrations that we've done. So thank you very much for all of that. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for documenting it for us.
Not at all. What a privilege to be part of it.
Well, we're very, very grateful.
Well done, all of you. It's been brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stan. Brilliant. Cheers.